Every photograph of Saturn looks like a painting. Calm, symmetrical, perfect. That is exactly why it is so dangerous. For generations, Saturn has been the face of wonder. The planet children point to in textbooks, the one with the rings, the jewel, the treasure of the outer solar system. We gave it a name from the god of harvest, of abundance, of time itself. But Saturn has been deceiving us. And the closer we get, the worse it becomes. Start with the rings. From Earth, they look effortless. Thin bands of golden light, perfectly spaced, perfectly still, like something sculpted rather than formed. You could stare at them for hours and feel nothing but peace. That feeling is a lie. Fly into those rings and the peace evaporates instantly. They are not solid, they are not smooth, they are a storm, a continuous, violent blizzard of ice and rock, particles ranging from the size of a grain of sand to the size of a small city, all of them moving at thousands of kilometers per hour, all of them smashing into each other, shattering, grinding, reforming. Imagine standing inside a blizzard made of broken glass. And imagine that blizzard stretches 282,000 kilometers wide. But in some places, it is only 10 meters thick. 10 meters. A blade of frozen chaos so thin that, at scale, it would be proportionally thinner than a sheet of paper. But here is what the photographs never show you. Those rings should not exist. Not like this. Not so bright, not so fresh-looking. Something created them recently. Something catastrophic. And when scientists began calculating the age of the ring material, they uncovered a crime. Long ago, perhaps 100 million years ago, perhaps less, a moon wandered too close. It crossed the Roche limit, the invisible boundary where Saturn's gravity becomes so overwhelming it overrides the forces holding a solid body together. The moon did not fall. It was pulled apart. Slowly at first, then catastrophically. Saturn's tidal forces stripped the crust from the core, fractured the rock from the ice, and scattered an entire world across a 300,000-kilometer orbit. What we see as rings are not rings. They are a graveyard. We have been admiring the debris of a murdered world for centuries, and we thought it was beautiful. But the violence does not stop at the rings. Look further. Look up. The North Pole of Saturn is doing something that, by the laws of fluid dynamics, should be impossible. It is making a hexagon, not a circle, not a spiral. A perfect, six-sided geometric storm that has been spinning without interruption for as long as we have been watching. Its walls rise hundreds of kilometers into the atmosphere. Its diameter is large enough to fit 4 Earths inside it, with room to spare. At its center spins a vortex, a deep, churning, red-tinted eye staring upward into empty space. Scientists have replicated this shape in laboratories using rotating fluids. They know why it forms. But understanding the physics does not prepare you for what it looks like. Nature does not make right angles. Saturn does. And if that geometric hurricane is not enough, Saturn has something worse. Every 30 Earth years, 1 Saturnian year, the planet loses its mind. A storm system is born somewhere in the northern hemisphere. A white eruption of ammonia clouds punching up from the deep interior, and then it grows, and grows, and grows, until it wraps around the entire planet. The Great White Spot, a global thunderstorm that circles Saturn like a scar that cannot close. The lightning inside it strikes 10,000 times more powerfully than anything in Earth's atmosphere. The clouds it generates are visible from 1.5 billion kilometers away. For a brief period, Saturn stops looking golden. It looks like a ghost. But then the storm fades. The gold returns, and Saturn resumes its performance of calm for 30 more years. Now leave the planet itself. Travel outward. Saturn commands a kingdom of 146 moons, and 2 of them are going to change the way you think about life in the universe. The first is Titan. Nothing should prepare you for Titan. You approach it and see clouds. Real clouds. Dense, continuous cloud cover blanketing a world with actual weather. You descend through an atmosphere thicker than Earth's and you find rivers, and lakes, and shorelines. For one disorienting moment, it looks like home. Then the temperature reading registers. Minus 179 degrees Celsius. The lakes are not water, they are liquid methane, liquid ethane, Liquid natural gas, pooling in basins carved by rivers of liquid natural gas, raining from clouds of liquid natural gas, evaporating back into an atmosphere that smells like the inside of a gas canister. The dunes along the equator are not sand. They are dark, static-charged hydrocarbon grains, essentially plastic, sculpted into ridges hundreds of meters tall by winds that should be too slow to move anything. Titan is not a barren moon. It is a toxic Earth, a reflection of our planet built from completely wrong ingredients, running a completely wrong chemistry, at a temperature that would shatter a human body like porcelain. Life as we know it cannot survive there. But life as we don't know it? That question is still open. The second moon is smaller, less dramatic at first glance. A smooth white ball of ice so reflective it gleams like a pearl against the darkness. This is Enceladus. And Enceladus should not be alive. A moon this small, this far from the sun, should be frozen solid and geologically dead. Stone cold, silent. But then Cassini flew close to the South Pole, and it found scars. 4 long blue fractures in the ice, parallel, evenly spaced. Scientists called them tiger stripes, and from these stripes, something was erupting. Geysers. Not small ones, geysers of water vapor and ice particles, blasting hundreds of kilometers into space at supersonic speed, feeding an entire ring of Saturn with their output. Something is keeping Enceladus warm from the inside. Saturn's gravity needs this tiny moon constantly, generating friction, generating heat, keeping an ocean liquid beneath that frozen shell. An ocean, a global saltwater ocean beneath the ice, in contact with a rocky seafloor, warmed by hydrothermal vents. We have found that combination before. On Earth. In the deep ocean trenches where sunlight never reaches, where the pressure would crush a submarine, life thrives around hydrothermal vents in thick, complex ecosystems. Enceladus has the water. It has the heat. It has the salt. It has the organic molecules. We detected them in the geyser plumes. Somewhere beneath that ice, in the dark and the pressure and the warmth, something might be swimming. We went to Saturn to study a gas giant. We may have stumbled onto a neighbor, but learning these secrets came at a cost. The Cassini spacecraft spent 13 years orbiting Saturn. 13 years of flybys, of atmosphere measurements, of ring crossings, of moon encounters. It sent back more than 450,000 images. It rewrote every chapter of what we thought we knew about this system. And then it ran out of fuel. NASA faced a decision, an unavoidable one. A spacecraft drifting without control could eventually contaminate one of the moons, Enceladus especially, with Earth microbes. That was unacceptable. So they chose a different ending. On September 15, 2017, Cassini was aimed directly at Saturn's atmosphere. On its final approach, it fought to keep its antenna pointed at Earth, to keep transmitting, to keep sending data back even as the friction began to glow around its hull, even as the heat climbed past the tolerance of every instrument on board. For 91 seconds, it kept transmitting. And then Saturn took it. The heat tore through the spacecraft. The pressure folded it. And in moments, the machine that had orbited this world for over a decade became part of the atmosphere it had spent its life studying. There is no debris. There is no monument. Cassini is Saturn now. And Saturn did not pause, did not mark the moment, did not change. Because Saturn does not care. It never did. Here is the final thing Saturn will take from you. The rings are disappearing. Right now, this year, every year, Saturn's gravity is drawing ring material downward into the planet, a slow, continuous process called ring rain. Particles drifting inward, falling into the atmosphere, gone. In 100 million years, the rings will be entirely gone. In cosmic time, that is nothing. A single frame in a film billions of frames long. To any civilization looking at our solar system then, Saturn will be just another gas giant. Unremarkable. Another ball of hydrogen and helium orbiting an ordinary star. The crown will have vanished. The graveyard will have been forgotten. And the universe will be exactly as indifferent to that loss as it is to everything else. So look at Saturn. Not with the eyes of someone admiring a photograph, look at it with the knowledge of what it actually is. A planet-sized engine of destruction dressed in the most beautiful costume in the solar system. A world that built its crown from a dead moon, maintains its storms for centuries, hides alien oceans, and will eventually swallow even the machines we sent to understand it. The most beautiful thing in our sky is also, quietly, one of the most dangerous, and it has exactly as long as it wants.